Hey, Sam.
Yeah, something.
The video looks blurry. Can you pause it and play it again? And I'll fix it.
I did that. Now it's fixed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, something.
The video looks blurry. Can you pause it and play it again? And I'll fix it.
I did that. Now it's fixed. Sorry, you can hear us in stereo, but it sounds like everything's good.
Yeah, everything looks good. I'm checking it out here on my end too. So I think you guys are good to go.
Thanks, Eddie.
You're welcome.
Hi, Eddie.
Hello.
We miss you.
I know, I miss you guys too. When you go to live person, I'll go to one of the meetings.
So just so you know, we are streaming live until we start the official meeting. So if you want to stay muted until we start, but it looks like we are only missing, who are we missing? Judy, Cindy,
Yeah.
Rhonda, Noel,
Jeff Lee.
We're missing Jeff, that's right. So we'll wait a few minutes for him. We can go ahead and get started whenever you're ready, Cindy, and hopefully Jeff will join us.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. So thanks everybody for joining us. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order and we'll do a roll call vote.
Roll call. Commissioner Scher?
Here.
Commissioner Resnick?
Here.
Commissioner Meredith?
Here.
Commissioner Hudson?
Here.
Vice Chair McDonald?
Here.
And Chair Caption.
Here.
And at this point, we'll reflect, let the record reflect Commissioner Jeffrey Lay is absent until he pops up.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. He may be having difficulty. Okay, so next is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I found my flag. So there we go. So let's go ahead and start. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think, Jim, you and I did that as a duet. At least that's what I heard.
Nobody else. I didn't hear anybody else.
Everybody else was muted. I'm sure they said it in their homes. So do I have a motion to adopt the agenda for today?
Yes.
Okay.
I motion it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Judy. Is there a second?
I second.
Noel, you have something. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and vote on adopting the agenda.
Commissioner Scher?
Yes.
Commissioner Meredith?
Yes.
Commissioner Resnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson?
Yes.
Vice Chair McDonald?
Yes.
And Chair Caption.
Yes. And look who we have.
And we have Commissioner Lay has joined us. Thank you.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, all.
You missed the Pledge of Allegiance, so you have to make that up.
Right after class.
Okay, that's right. Come over to my house and we'll do it together.
We did start a minute early, so he gets a break.
Oh, okay. You're good. All good, all good. So now that everybody's here, I want to introduce our newest commissioner, PJ Hudson. Welcome, PJ. Thanks for joining the commission, and
Thank you.
hope you have a really
That's
good experience with us and with the Arts Commission. Do you want to say hello to the group? And
yes, I would love to. Yeah, thank you, everybody. I'm excited to be here. And I guess probably many of you are, wondering what my background is and maybe what brought me here today. But So I thought about a little bit about what I might want to share with you and just to kind of where my interests lie. I think ever since I was a youngster, you know, when I was in school, I was in the drama club and I was a DJ at our radio stations. And in college, I was a newscaster on our radio station and I hosted a show called Rock and Roll Info. That was a lot of fun. And I was also active in what was called our program board. We brought all of the concerts and lectures and movies and things to our college campus. So when I moved to California with stars in my eyes, I thought I was going to be a music industry promoter, but like life sometimes does, I took a pivot and I ended up accepting a position at VSP Global, which is a global eye care company. Many people know VSP as their eye care insurance. So I was with them for a number of years and I was successful in sales and I mentored a sales team. But throughout that time, I've always been a huge music fan. I've written a lot of poetry. Some of you might recognize me from delivering a few pieces at Yountville Out Loud, which I've always enjoyed. And I also served as a member of our town advisory board a few years ago when the town did the general plan update. Anyway, I guess that's maybe the pertinent things that I would say that have brought me here. I actually did apply to be on the Arts Commission 2 years ago, but I was still working at that time and felt like I wanted to put that on hold until I had more time to devote to it. And I'm happy to now say that I'm retired. So that's what brought me here to you today.
Thank you. Thanks. And welcome from everybody. So you'll learn our names and you'll have our email addresses and phone numbers and all that so that, you know, it's awkward to meet via Zoom, but hopefully we'll all meet in person or IRL in real life at some point in the future.
I sure hope so too. I can't wait for that day to come. And thank you again. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. So then you can see we all have legs.
Bodies.
Bodies. Yeah. So next, let's go ahead and have approval of the minutes from July 11th meeting. It's just a few.
I recommend approval of the minutes, or I propose.
Thanks, Jeff. Is there a second? Nobody wants a second? I'll second.
I'll second. I'm sorry, but I thought Jeff was asking for a revision.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
Yeah.
Not this time.
Okay.
Okay. So all in favor of the approval of the minutes from the last meeting? Sam?
Commissioner Lay,
Approved.
Commissioner Scher. Sorry, I muted you, Rhonda, for a second a minute ago, so you'll have to unmute. Sorry.
Yes, I approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Meredith,
I approve.
Commissioner Resnick,
Approve.
and Commissioner Hudson will abstain because she wasn't yet with us. Vice Chair McDonald
I approve.
and Garrett Cashin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, Sam, are there any public comments on matters that are not listed on the agenda?
Let me check one more time. I did right before the meeting and we didn't. No public comment.
Okay. Next, ball's still in your court for the Art Fund report.
All right. So let me open my stuff. So in the packet was the through June of 2022 reports. So that should be very close to our year end. There may be some minor things, but from what I was told by the finance department, it should be pretty close to our year end. And so going through those reports, I'll just show the front page. Share my screen. Maybe, there we go. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this would be, as I said, through the end of June. So our fiscal year ends June 30th. And then we start over again. So we actually, this is the Yountville Arts Program 015405. That is our general fund, which most of our programming comes out of. And we ended the year really positively. We met and exceeded our revenue goals and stayed pretty well within budget for our expenses. So we only actually drew down just under $3,300 from the subsidy that the town would provide if we needed it. So last year we started breaking out our art sales. So anytime we sell a sculpture or there's a sale in the gallery, we break that out separately as revenue. And we started doing that because we wanted to make sure we were accounting for that separately to make my life easier. So at the end of the year, I didn't have to do all the math and say, okay, this is what the transfer of that revenue should be. So this year we sold just under $78,527 in art. A large portion of that was the second half of the show that we did with Guy Buffet, the revenue from that. And then the expenses. So when we pay out an artist for their percentage of any sculpture sales was $41,692. So that means we made $36,835.30, which is spectacular and not very common for us. And then we'll come back to that shortly for our discussion part of that. So next thing we'll look at is the restricted public art fee. So this again is that 1% valuation of any commercial building permit that goes into this fund when the project is finalized. And so we started out the year with just over $58,000. We transferred just over $10,000 into the fund. So when a project is finalized and they decided they didn't want to place art, we can then transfer the money to use. And our expenses this year were just over $28,000. So that left us with a fund balance at the end of the year of just over $40,000 in that fund.
That's great. That's our nut, right?
Yep. It's pretty good. So really quickly, before we come back to that discussion item, I'll also show you our no change in the Yountville Arts Fund here for the Town of Yountville Community Foundation. So that's our other space for money that we hold in our 501c3 foundation. We've had a small contribution, and then the expense from this year was the purchase of Raven and Polly. So that's the expense. But we end the fiscal year over $27,000 there. All right, so back to our discussion. I was just gonna leave this up if that's okay, just to walk through it. So at the end of the fiscal year, this conversation had come up previously because the Arts Commission has an administrative policy that we decided to try to maintain at least $40,000 in the Art Walk, the Public Art Fund, to sustain the Art Walk. As we've seen commercial building permits and activity slow, we've seen us, slowing to the revenue coming into that fund. So we had talked about, how do we make sure that is sustained and different ideas for that. So this year we will be able to transfer that $36,835, which is what our revenue or net is for art sales. So we talked before about, do we transfer that into the restricted art fund as we've seen this decrease in the revenue the past 2 years? To make sure that's sustained. I met with Celia, our finance director, and I discussed it with Steve, and our recommendation is actually to continue transferring that money into the Town of Yountville Community Foundation. And the reason for that is because you have a lot more flexibility with that money. If we were to transfer it into the Public Art Fund now, that money is then totally restricted and can only be used for the Art Walk. If we leave it in the foundation, for whatever reason, there's an influx in commercial building and we get more money flowing in, we can then know that that fund for public Art Walk is fine. But at any point we can decide, and you can vote to transfer money from the foundation to sustain that as well. So I guess our thought process is just to maintain that flexibility with that money for as long as possible until you actually need to make a decision to move it to sustain the art fund. So, or the Art Walk fund. But I did do some analysis on, making sure we understand, what the expenses for the Art Walk are. So in the fiscal year, last fiscal year, which was 21-22, our total expenses, like I said before, were just over $28,000. So that is $20,000 in stipends. So we placed 8 new sculptures last year. So our stipend is $2,500 per sculpture. So that was the 8 sculptures we placed. We have expenses for plaques. So every time we get a new sculpture, we get a new plaque. We also replaced some plaques last year of existing sculptures because they had been scratched and damaged over the years. We had about a little over $2,000 in installation cleaning costs. So sometimes we have to rent a piece of equipment or something like that to install a sculpture, or have extra hired help. And then we started paying to have the sculptures cleaned. And then we have some miscellaneous money for other expenses like printing and marketing. We charge the fee for the audio tour there and other things like that. So obviously this year, the normal operating costs of the Art Walk is going to draw down, below that $40,000 unless we see some sort of large influx, which usually if we see an influx, it's going to go into the deposit account, and larger projects can take 1 to 2 to more years. So it could be over time that we may see that money. But I just want to make sure, we know, I don't believe we're anticipating placing that many sculptures this year, but it may depend on a lot of things, as that subcommittee works, if we have a lot of sales or we have a lot of spots open up. So, we can maintain that flexibility in there. And then if at some point we decide, and that's something I monitor every month, and you see the reports every month, if we decide that, we do need to make a transfer to continue sustaining that program, then we can do it at that time. So currently, I talk about like deposits and moving money. So when a permit comes in and we collect that fee up front, that 1%, and it goes into a holding account. And that's something that every other month I track, and I go through and I say what projects have closed and what haven't, and can we move the money? So right now in the holding deposit account is just over $5,000. So when we look at, I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did. But what I can say is in the next year, most likely that's all that we'll be transferring is $5,000. So it's pretty low. It obviously doesn't cover our annual operating costs. So hopefully we'll see an influx. We'll see more commercial building going on as we come out of COVID and properties are changed management or ownership. But again, I wish I had a crystal ball, but I don't. But what I can say is you do have a fairly robust balance. You will in the Town of Yountville Community Foundation. I would say I probably would hold off on buying any new sculptures in the next year or so until we see, the leveling out of the public art deposit fund, just so that you have that money in there to sustain the program. And then, long term, we don't need to really have that discussion, but if we see that the slowdown continues for a long time, then, we're able to come back to the council and say, we need to revise how we're running this program. So, my goal is always the long-term sustainment. And that was really, the goal with Steve really spearheading that 1% was to make sure that we can sustain this Art Walk into perpetuity. So, I'm happy to answer any questions or go back and share the screen in other ways.
Sam, I'm sorry. Am I correct in understanding that although that money is in the community fund, it's designated for Yountville Arts?
Yes, it can only be used for your arts, and you would have to approve it by the commission would have to approve it before it could come and be taken out of the foundation.
But it's not used for anything else.
No.
Got it.
Money.
Yeah, it's Arts Commission's money. It can't be used for anything else.
Jim, you had a question?
Yeah, I have two. Number one, in terms of the money from sales this past year, is that something we vote whether we move it to the foundation or move it to the restricted Art Walk Fund?
Yes, I've asked you to vote on it tonight.
Okay. And my second question is, while I like the flexibility of moving it to the foundation, say a year from now, we're down to 35 or 32 or whatever in the restricted Art Walk Fund, at that point, might it make sense to move from the foundation just a small amount to up it to close to 40 rather than do an all or nothing?
Well, I don't think you should be afraid of it drawing down under 40. It was just the administrative thought process, because we bought several sculptures out of different money. And at the time, the thought was, $40,000 was about a 2-year sustainment of the art walk. We've sold and placed during COVID more art than we ever have. And so our annual budget was over that 20,000, but really that was the thought process at the time was, okay, $40,000 would sustain it for 2 years if we saw a downturn. So I don't think you necessarily should be afraid of dropping down below that, as long as we're seeing some activity on the other side. But those transfers can happen very quickly. So, we could even have a special meeting to vote on a transfer. So, and you can continue to have that conversation as you get your monthly reports and see how things are flowing. And I'm obviously always looking at it as well.
Okay, thank you.
Rhonda?
Sam, but we're in a pretty good position right now, are we not?
Yes, you're in a very good position between the Art Walk Fund and, the foundation funding. For historical purposes, obviously, Rhonda goes back as far as everybody, any of us, is that, financially, we're in a position that we've never really been in. So it is a good thing. But then we start to discuss, where do you put the money and how do you use it best.
So the other thing I was going to just note for everybody, and that is we have a lot of empty pads. We have no sculptures in the queue, and we're working hard to bring some forward. But when they start to come, then we're going to be spending the $2,500 stipend as they come in, just a FYI.
Yep.
But that's our program. And I still think we're in pretty good shape. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Rhonda, how many empty pads do we have?
I'm going to be doing an analysis on that by the end of the week, but Cindy, 6,
well, it depends.
8.
Yeah, it depends on what you count. There's some that have been like the little Bartisono pad is. But
not even counting those. But we have 2 now at Whistle Stop or whatever, JCB,
right.
Plaza, whatever it is. We have pieces that are timing out soon,
yeah.
And we'll continue to time out into next year. So we really need new pieces now to replace the pieces with the empty pads. And then as they time out and pieces are returned to the artist, we're going to need to replace those. So I think we're about to get busy. I have a feeling that we're going to be getting some interest in the art walk from artists. That can be a process. It can take a little while to get the actual pieces, but I think they'll come.
And we're prepared for that. We have the budget. We're ready to go. And I think, anytime we sell a sculpture is a great thing, but that as we know, that circulation of things is what keeps it exciting for people. So I don't feel like we should be inhibiting what we normally do. We just need to go forward and keep doing what we're doing. And, if we need to move a little money around, then we do that. But I mean, I feel like, especially with the one largest property in town that has changed ownership in the last 12 months, I do anticipate us seeing some things coming forward. But again, I wish I had a crystal ball, but I don't.
I think now with the robust seasons we've had or fiscal years we've had recently with sales, that would be very attractive to artists. And also, are we using the marketing package, Rhonda, that we put together? Was it last year?
Yes, I will be using it. And from the artists that I talk to, for one reason or another, that are on the Art Walk or have been on the Art Walk, our word has spread. People know, how many artists know within their sculptural communities that we've had a great success in Yountville. So I'm hoping to find in the next couple of weeks a little easier time of talking to artists and getting people to come on board. Never know. But we certainly have a lot of talking points.
Yeah, definitely. And if you need anything else for the packet, it seems pretty complete at this point. It was really nice when we all last worked on it, but
I think it's
just
good.
let us know.
Sam did some edits for us, and I'll pick them up, the packets up on Wednesday. So,
Great.
Yeah, thanks.
Jeff, did you have a comment?
Well, the question I was going to ask Judy asked, but I have another one.
Okay.
They purchased sculptures, Sam. Those are our permanent pieces, and how many of those do we have?
So we currently, I'll name them off, but I can't count them. I'll name them off I'll count them as I name them off. So the Faces of Freedom sculpture in Veterans Park is a permanent piece. The Chef is permanent. So those we either bought or commissioned. We consider the mushrooms permanent, but that is for sale. And, someone technically could take the whole installation if they wanted to. Chaos Pamplona is permanent. And Polly and Raven are permanent.
And the judge?
And the judge is permanent. So that's 7.
Okay, thank you.
And go ahead. We own those pieces, but we could also sell them at some point if we really wanted to. I don't see us.
Slingshot?
Oh, Slingshot, that's 8.
And then, the 9/11 memorial isn't part of the Art Walk.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know if we consider that art, but we have it in the past. But
okay.
Yeah. So, and the school sculpture. So that's actually 9.
And the school sculpture.
Yeah. Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah. So I have 2 questions as well. The subsidy that we get from the town council, does that go? It doesn't go into our account. It's kind of a reckoning at the end of the year, and then we take from it. Right?
Yeah. So what we've used to do, because we didn't separate art sales, is I would work with Celia, our finance director, and we would reconcile everything so that we made sure that, that we weren't giving back the sales money, basically. So regardless of how much the town subsidized us, we would always get that revenue. But so since we broke that out, it's not really like our money. It's not art money. It's what the town council said. If you spend this much and you only make this much, we're okay with that. We're okay with subsidizing you. But if you don't spend it, you don't get to move it anywhere anymore.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. So we didn't get that 17,000.
Yeah, our revenue was great. And our expenses were up too. So, and I think what you'll really see that in full force this year, because we're adding that true part-time position, and so that's really going to push that subsidy up. We didn't have that last year, so I had budgeted for a marketing person to help that we never had. So that was a lot of that subsidy savings was in staff time. So,
right.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, since we have our budget approved that we went over and submitted to the council and all that, I was wondering if we could look at that maybe next meeting, just
Absolutely.
to kind of refresh ourselves about, how much money we have for certain things and where it
Yeah,
goes.
I'll send out just after this meeting, because I was thinking about it before and I didn't get to it. I'll send out that detailed spreadsheet that we worked on together, as well as what the actual budget for, in the budget book looks like, so that you can all have that to know, this is what we had agreed upon. This is where the numbers I proposed came from. And then you could see it reflected because in the budget book, it's very big chunks. So it doesn't give you that detail like, oh, we said we were going to, spend this much on this. So the two together are helpful.
Yeah. That was good. And thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Any other questions or comments about the Arts Fund budget, or go back to the see anybody? Okay, so what is next? Next we start with you, Rhonda, and the Art Walk
Oh, wait.
sub.
We're gonna
sorry.
vote on that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, so does somebody want to make a motion to, okay, so we're going to take the money from our excess revenue of $36,835.30, right? And move that into the Yountville Community Foundation.
Art Fund, yes.
Art Fund.
I so move, Cindy.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second? And Noelle is a second. So let's do a roll call vote.
Okay, Commissioner Hudson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lay,
Yes.
Commissioner Scher,
Yes.
Commissioner Resnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Meredith,
Yes.
Vice Chair McDonald,
Yes.
and Chair Caption.
Yes,
Thank you.
thanks. Now we'll move on to the Art Walk Subcommittee. Hi, Rhonda.
Yeah, as I just said, we don't have anything we're working on specifically right now, but I'm hoping that we're going to be picking up some interest in the next couple of weeks. I am working on a sale from Macaw. Jacob Novinger is not being very cooperative, so I don't know if it's going to go through or not, but I spent a couple of days back and forth. And I'm hopeful it's not a huge, it's $12,000, but it would still be just kind of nice to get our blood going again.
Yeah.
And other than that, I think that's about it for the report.
Okay, and you did order another 100 glass hearts, right, from Pat?
Oh, you want on the Hearts project? Yes, we have another 100 coming. I picked up the first 100 from Patty and have those to drop off to Samantha. They look great. One thing I wanted to talk to you all about is now we're going to have 200 hearts to scatter. And we talked about needing that many, but I'm wondering how you would feel about, if we did them in increments, maybe over the month of February. And so Jeff, for example, you have 25 to scatter. So you sneak out on the night of February 1st or whatever the first weekend is, and you scatter 25 of them. And then the next week, Noelle does the same. And then the next week, Judy does the same with whatever number we come up with to scatter. That way we're all putting them in different places and we really don't know where each other's putting them. And it would kind of keep it going for a whole month with people milling around looking for the hearts.
I like
What's nice,
that.
what's nice about that is you're creating some buzz too, and we can market it from week to week. And earlier today, I sent out to everyone a Sunday morning piece, CBS Sunday Morning, about Block Island, which was so inspirational to us as we were developing this. And if you all watched, I think you see what's been created year to year. And I think we can do this week to week in a short period of time. And then hopefully the following year. But I love the idea of spreading it out rather than throwing them all out on, not throwing them, but spreading them all out on one weekend. I think that's a great way to do it. And then we'll support it with marketing so people know to come looking for it. I think are they all signed then, Rhonda?
they're signed and numbered.
Yeah.
And on the island, as you referred to, they actually have people registering the number of the orb, and which is kind of fun, but also staff. It's kind of labor intensive as well. Right now, we have really the only quote prize will be the yellow mustard larger heart, and that one we'll have to figure out a system of turning that one in when somebody finds it. It's good sized and it's pretty bright. So whoever gets to hide that one is going to have a little bit of a challenge.
It seems like it's far enough away, but as we all know, it's not. So sooner rather than later, when we get all the things that we're working on right now, not totally off our plate, but a little bit pushed to the side, we can start really fine tuning this, because I think it's just tremendous. It's especially that they're signed and numbered.
Yeah.
I think it's really meaningful.
Yeah. So, and she'll pick up the second half. Second 100 will be 101, 102, whatever. Yeah.
I have a question. I was just thinking, would it be possible for us to take maybe a small quantity of those? And I don't think we can do it because the Vets Home campus is closed, but could staff at the Vets Home maybe take some of those and put them in places around in some of the buildings or whatever, so some of the veterans would have the opportunity to participate?
Well, the idea was to put them around the Art Walk sculptures, PJ.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's part of the greater Mustard Festival celebration, and so it's pretty focused on the Art Walk.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. So thank you for understanding my newness.
Sure.
Noelle, thanks for sending out that video. It was really great to see, and it was inspiring. Rhonda, I like your idea of spreading those out. And in fact, if we did 25 at a time, we could do it for February and March. If we did 25 a week, which would cover a lot of mustard season too.
It would take the whole mustard season. Yes.
And I think it would create a much bigger buzz if we did it over a longer period of time. People would just start building.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. And I think individually we could each have fun with it. And we can maybe coordinate whether, I'm going to go back to you, Jeff, whether you handle from Love Wine to the judge. And then, so that it rotates, I guess, so make sure that the whole sculpture walk gets covered. But that's just, that's easy. We can.
And then if we're able to photograph people who find them, we can use it for social media. And if we can get the Register or Yountville Sun or Yountvillean, all of our news outlets to cover some pictures, I think it'll also continue the buzz, and it will really be so much fun.
I was gonna say there. I don't know if you've ever followed Napa Rocks, but it's a group that paints those beautiful rocks and puts them around. And when you find them, you're supposed to post a picture of you with the rock or the rock. Maybe there's a way that we could put some little signs out along the way that tell people to post if they.
Or maybe we could tag to each one a code, and then they'll know to post their picture, and we can do some grand prize like a big bottle of wine or something every week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's motivating.
Yeah. I could supply the big bottles of wine.
Or for a kid, it could be like a big bottle of bubbles.
I think that I really like the way that the math works, because if Sam joins us, then each one of us gets 25, and that's 200. And then there's one special one. And I know we're not really allowed to climb the sculptures, so I guess we can't put it at the top of Chaos Pamplona, which is probably.
That would be
Come on, Rhonda.
Stop it.
Damn. This meeting is recorded and in public, so there goes my great idea.
But I was also going to say back to kind of what PJ's idea was, we can, and I have contacts up there, but really encourage, maybe they bring groups down to walk and look and different things, but try to involve the veterans more, I think is a great idea.
And the last thing on the in fact, more general, the mustard celebration. It's moving forward. There are meetings going on. There's a meeting on Thursday that I'll be attending for us. That's really working with the umbrella and the activities that are going to be within the umbrella of the Mustard Festival. So I expect that we're going to be getting a lot of backup PR and press from that umbrella. If it, as you recall, in presenting the program, we said that if the mustard celebration doesn't happen, we still have a good program and we're still going to go forward with it. So the idea of being part of the mustard celebration is only further benefit to us.
Mm-hmm.
But it is moving forward, and it looks like all the cities and towns are going to be participating this year with something. So that'll be fun.
Nice to have back.
I think it will be. I think it will be, Jeff. Thank you.
So yeah, so the Hearts of Yountville was under Art Walk this time. So PJ, the Art Walk there's subcommittees, and then there's like a chair of the subcommittee. So the Art Walk Subcommittee is Rhonda, me, and Judy, and Rhonda is the chair. So next is there anything else, Rhonda? Or?
No, I think that's it,
Okay.
unless there's any questions.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I have a quick question, Rhonda. Are we still going to be in tandem with, or Rhonda and Jim, and Cindy, are we still going to be in tandem and do a show with Hearts that we were initially discussing as part of the original plan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we will.
The program is written. I just have to do it in, quote, artist form so that we can send it to artists and start to take art. We decided it's not too soon to start looking at pieces, and certainly not too soon to get artists thinking about it. But yeah, that's part 2. And that will also be under the same umbrella with the Mustard Festival, the celebration.
Terrific.
Okay. Great
We can
segue into.
probably get more buy-in too from folks, depending on, in addition to artists, maybe, I don't know how we decide who, but people from our town or who do their Hearts, and of course everybody signed them, and I know initially my thought about this came when there's a restaurant in Southern California called Joffrey's. It's right on the ocean. It's amazing, but they have a whole wall of celebrity Hearts going way back in the day. But you have major celebrities doing heart, just pen and ink, and all signing them. It's like a big autograph wall, like you see in, is it Sardi's? What is the theater place in New York? And so something like that, in addition to our artists, will just be so much fun. I'm really excited about the whole program.
I think it'll be great. And actually fun for everybody. Everybody likes to work with Hearts. So it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's a good segue into the gallery subcommittee, which is Jim, Rhonda, Cindy, and Jim is the chair. So take it away, Jim.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy. First, I'll mention that Jose Martinez opened to a very lively studio opening about a week and a half ago. And he's already conducted 2 painting classes associated with the exhibit, and there's a 3rd one scheduled for this coming Saturday, August 6th from 4 to 6 at the community center. So that seems to be going well. We follow that up with the Art of the Blend exhibit between October 6th and December 2nd. And then following that is our annual youth art exhibit around during the month of December going into January. So we need to approve the Art of the Blend exhibit, which is a joint collaboration with Jessup Sellers. And so I'd like, and Noelle can jump in. Noelle joined Rhonda in approaching Jessup Sellers about this exhibit. And so Rhonda, do you want to take it from here?
Well, sure. I'm working with Cynthia Carey, who's the curator. Sam, do we have the screen on the she has sent the gallery committee a number of different examples of art from artists that she will be presenting in the gallery. This is to come. But you've got them, don't you, Sam?
Yeah. So can you see my screen with the flyer up? And then
right
in the packet, I also included, do you want me to run through those?
Do you mind just, if
yeah, no problem.
Throw them up?
Just 1 second to open those.
Since we're going to be voting.
Yes.
There we go. Thank you, Sam. So she's looking at 5 artists. You'll notice as you go through the images, different styles. And we basically, the gallery committee has approved going forward with this gallery show in the time slot that was available. So we are going to be asking for your vote tonight to approve the show as we have it planned. Cynthia and I will continue to work with pieces that she'll be presenting, multiple pieces from each of the artists. And then Cindy, have you seen my emails about getting together on the 29th?
Yes, yeah, both those days are fine.
Okay, great. So I'm just waiting for Cynthia to confirm those. And the other thing I'm waiting for her to do is send, I'm sure Sam, thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sam will appreciate knowing that we hope we have high-res images coming soon.
Perfect.
And of all those pieces that Cynthia has suggested. And then as we formulate with Jessup, we'll pick out certain ones we think are stronger to use for, say, the banner in of the flyer. As Jessup presented, those look great. And then we'll just use them continually on the website and as we've done before and in other social media and so forth. So Noelle's going to fill in on the marketing side. She's been working hand in hand with Jessup on where this is going to be marketed, how it's going to be marketed. We just got the flyer this morning. I think it looks great. So we'd like to move forward with your approval. So I think we're calling for a vote, Jim.
Yeah, first, any comments? And then we'll take a roll call. Anybody want to say anything?
Noelle?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I have a quick question, Rhonda. Are any of the artists local? Will any be there for an opening as we've done with others?
Well, that subject just came up this morning, Jeff. I don't know is the answer. Cynthia herself is an artist. She will be there, and she will also have her art hanging in the gallery. But in looking at the artists, I've noticed that several of them are from out of town. So we're hoping that she will have artists there, but I'm not sure at this point.
But at least she'll be there and we could have an opening around that.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Noelle, you had a comment?
Yes, I wanted to just make it clear that the gallery show is with the gallery at Jessup, the art gallery at Jessup, not Jessup per se, the tasting room. It's an association with the art gallery. And also, they're very open to working with us to define the event. We've just started to move forward with the marketing, and now the event will be better defined in terms of exactly what will be there. And Rhonda is correct. She has been discussing and asking if we can bring artists in, and I'm hoping we can. Also, because it's the art of the blend, we will also have representatives from Jessup at the event. When we have the event, Blending Passions, we will have a designated som there, which is AJ from Jessup, and he'll be pouring and talking about the wines, and Cynthia will be there and talking about the arts, and we'll be putting it all together It's just the broad strokes, but we'll definitely have a program. And also, we've got our fingers crossed that Chef Mike C. from Handwritten will be there, and he does some real unusual events with food. And we're in discussions of what some of them might be, which should be really, really interesting. I know we don't really want to talk about it just yet until we have everything fine-tuned, but it should be really, really great for both the opening and for the special event, which now is going to be on November 4th.
I assume the wines will be blends as well.
We'll just have to wait and see what they're pouring that night.
I assume, Jeff.
They could be components.
Wait, Jeff, you don't want to see only one grape in the bottle?
We'll make our own, if not.
Yeah, really.
Do our own blending
Right,
stuff.
a little cuvee, yeah.
That's great. Great.
But I have to say they're really excited about this event. They really step up when it comes to marketing their own events. They're very much involved in the arts, whether it's the literary arts, music, art. They are always promoting. So they're going to be a great partner for us. And we're going to be a great partner for them.
And I want to remind everybody that they gave a very nice large check to the mural project a few years ago. Jessup did.
Yeah, they
I
were
didn't know that.
part of the mural.
I not only like the art, I like the idea of the collaboration between the two, and I'm supportive of the project. I move that we adopt it.
Okay. You have a
A
motion?
second.
Excellent. So, Sam?
Commissioner Hudson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lay,
Yes.
Commissioner Scher,
Yes.
Commissioner Resnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Meredith,
Yes.
Vice Chair McDonald,
Yes.
and Chair Caption.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yippee.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you all.
Thanks for all your work,
it's gonna-
Rhonda.
Yes. that's
And-
just,
And Noel.
yes.
Okay,
Next week,
Jim too.
what did you say?
Jim too.
Okay.
Okay.
Jim's always.
Is that
Jim's work is just going to be starting now, too.
Is that like mini me or something? So literary, the only thing we have on the docket right now is Yountville Out Loud again on Thursday, September 15th. I will not be here, but our host for the evening is going to be Jeff Lay.
Go, Jeff.
Wow. Wow.
We're probably doing better with that move. So that's all I'll say.
I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to say anything. So
Okay.
Jim and I have a long conversation ahead of us.
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff. So
We talked a bit about it, and I have some idea, and I've been there before, but I just I want to have a conversation of setting it all up. But I'm happy to be stepping in. It'll be a fun thing to do.
yeah, I'm sure you'll be great. That's all I've got.
Next, we're going to teach you how to give tours.
Yeah, everybody. Okay. And then, so that's it. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jeff. Next is the Marketing and Pr Subcommittee, headed up by Noel. Also, Judy's on that committee.
I have to say, Jim was spot on about the Jorge Martinez opening. It was absolutely amazing. I was so taken with the art when I walked in. It is amazing that one man can do so many different types of art. It was just a feast for the eyes. And when I said to him, I said, I feel like I'm visiting a show with 5 different artists. And he said he couldn't get more of a compliment than that. And I was really taken with it, as I'm sure everyone was. So that was just beautiful. Rhonda and Jim, I know you both have personal relations with the artist, and it was just a beautiful show. So thank you for putting that together. The Hispanic Network is going to be promoting the show throughout its term. They have a summer newsletter coming out if it hasn't already come out, and they will be promoting it. In addition, they'll be promoting it to their board members so they can put it out through their social media. So we'll get a lot of support from them. And Sam was able to set up a mega mix interview for Jorge the day of his opening, which was a great thing. I mean, I can't think of anything better than really reaching out to the Hispanic community day of in Spanish, so we can start really broadening our guests who are coming and seeing the shows. And there was such a beautiful turnout, so that was very pleasing. And also, we are going to, once again, thanks to Sam, we're going to continue to have promotion on Megamix throughout the term of the show, so that'll be terrific. It's not just going to be one and done, it's going to be going on throughout. So that was very exciting. All of our shows now are being placed in the calendar sections or whatever advertising we can get of Napa Valley Life. I've started promoting also Yountville Out Loud, since we have the piece of artwork. If there's new artwork or anything comes up, please let me know so we can switch it out, or if things get updated, just so we have extra. Started placing things in Napa Valley Marketplace. They're a little bit different, just so everyone knows you have to have it in 1 month prior to the event and before the 5th of the month. So I put Out Loud in there, and I also put Jorge in there. And I don't know how they determine. They don't guarantee anything will get placed, but at least they have all of our materials, and hopefully they'll get placed in the coming month, maybe this month, for both shows. And the Chamber is continuing to promote us in their newsletters, which is great. And Nextdoor, we've been posting in Nextdoor for all the events, and that's been working out well. Once I started doing that, it was very interesting. Suddenly we're being gifted with icons and things from Nextdoor. It's really been a lot of fun. There's a lot of support from the community for Yountville Arts.
Probably been a good learning curve for you, right?
It has been totally. It's in case anybody wonders, we are now Arts Commissioner on Nextdoor. So when you see posts from Arts Commissioner, that's us.
Oh, okay.
And let's see, as far as market. Oh, and also what was really nice too, all the work we've been doing with the Chamber. I was really pleased when Whitney reached out to Sam and to me about promoting their event. I sent it out to all of you, called Vicuna Salvation, and it's about the Vicuna, which is I guess the highest breed of llamas, basically, and how it saved a community in Peru. And there's going to be a screening in August with the Yountville International Short Film Festival moderating it in the Chamber. And it was really nice that they asked if we would support them with our social media, which Sam has already been doing. And we're going to be sending out a newsletter to our email list. They've been sending out newsletters, and then they put us on the list of organizations supporting that event, which is really nice. So I always think that kind of cross promotion, as we can keep building it throughout the community, is really important. And then onto the Jessup show. You saw the marketing collateral we have in the flyer, and Sam, I'm assuming that you will go ahead and do the banner based on what we have, correct? We don't have to have Jessup do that, because I know you probably have a format. You just take the collateral and.
Yeah, if the flyer is set, then we'll just, go off of that same sort of theme and design.
Okay, great. And then for Blending Passions, they are going to do another piece of artwork specifically for that event, but they did mention that event in the artwork that you saw today. So we'll fine tune that, and then we'll have a final version of that. They will promote the event with an email campaign to their Jessup sellers and handwritten database. They'll have social media posts leading up to the event, and then throughout the event. They will also, they've got a lot of partners, which is really wonderful. So they'll be promoting both the opening, the show, and the Blending Passions event with the Napa Valley Vintners, with Canvas, with the Chamber, with Visit Napa Valley, Wine Country, Napa Valley, and French American Chamber of Commerce in San Francisco, which is a new one, which I think is really terrific. So I'm excited about that. And then they're going to print hard copy flyers to pass out to different businesses here in town. And certainly the chamber, I know, will use them because their volunteers really are big on passing out hard copies of things. Even though we're in a digital age, they still really like using hard copy. So they've been some of our biggest supporters for events. And I think that pretty much covers it. I talked a little bit about what the event might be, and I know Rhonda and Jim and Cindy are going to be working on defining it to a greater level of detail, but I think it's just going to be really terrific. And that kind of covers marketing for now.
I have a question, Noelle, if I may.
Yep.
Are you looking for edits on this flyer, or is that something like you and I'll just kind of go over and work with?
I'm happy to do it with you, Rhonda, or if anybody has thoughts, just to go to you, and then we'll just have one set coming through.
Okay, just let me know.
But this was their first draft, and they realized that we might have some thoughts. Oh,
that's great. And the edits are small. It's just
absolutely not a problem whatsoever. We'll get that to them, and then we can fine tune it, and then we can just start moving forward with it as promotional material.
Good.
And then we can put it on the website, the Yountville Arts website.
Soon.
Yeah.
I thought I saw another hand, but maybe not. Okay, I have a question about, do we routinely put all our events on Paul Franson's newsletter and on the Canva?
We do not, and I believe, Judy, you have relationships with both of them?
Well, I'm part of the Canvas, the concierge, but I need to look further. But definitely Paul Franson, we should.
That would be wonderful. Particularly, I found that when you have a relationship with someone, it makes it easier for them to be receiving your input and promoting it and placing value on it because they know where it's coming from.
He receives all of the town's press releases. He's on our distribution list.
Okay.
But
so we probably.
Paul responds best to a personal note from someone he knows. You know that, Judy.
Yeah.
I know he's really good about including, and he likes it not the week of, the week before, for anything that we do, and he'll usually run it especially if he knows you.
Yeah, so that's great, Judy.
I'll do it this week.
Okay, and what about it's Canvas?
Yeah, so it's the Concierge Association. So it's got a lot of people that could potentially send us a lot of visitors. Oh. And I've been on it. I'm just kind of on it so that I get the information, but I can reach out and find somebody that I know on that and find out how we can get promoted by them as well. Because they send out their newsletter and I get that every single week.
Oh. Yeah, that's great. And I'll continue to send you all the artwork that we have. So you have files, and then you can share the files with them.
Okay.
Is it also on the Google Drive?
What's that?
The artwork.
I don't know if it's getting on there or not.
Okay.
It used to get on there.
Okay. And lastly, Perform Napa Valley. Are we going to, make contact with them because I just was reading about them in Paul Franson's newsletter this week, and it sounds like our missions sort of overlap quite a bit. So, that's another place for performing artists local performing artists to get support.
I think what we can probably do is anybody. I think anybody who performs like for music in the park and things like that. I think they have to enter or submit themselves. Everything's just started. I think their website just went live today.
I joined to receive more information because they do provide grants to other entities.
Yes,
so partnership opportunity in the future.
That'd be great. And Tim and I are doing the video work for them, but I don't know much more than what's on the website at this point. But the grants, absolutely. And for anybody who's in performing arts, It's a wonderful opportunity. They do not, they are not putting the events together. They are helping put together a program that shares the events with the public. So they are more, is from what I can tell at this point, they are the ones putting the voice out there about Napa Valley Presents, not actually hiring or putting the events together.
Right. They're not producing anything. I put my name on their mailing list as well, which is easy to do.
Which is good for everyone. Yes.
Yeah. And then, so maybe it's more of a performing arts subcommittee thing, just to kind of keep an eye on, you know, what they're doing and how we can help them and they can help us. Because if we need somebody to play at a gallery opening, I know Napa Valley Arts Council has artists. I don't know if they have separate performing artists under their, like their drop down where you can find a painter or find a jeweler person, but
it's like it might be a little premature for them just yet. Like if we keep them on our radar.
Yeah.
And see, until they start to do something.
Right.
We don't know how it's all going to work.
Right.
And also, we'll see, because the event is, I think, the 17th through the 25th through the 29th of this year. And based on what that is, maybe next year we can move some of our events or an event into September, and we can have it be a part of that program, whether it's music in the park or just something that we're doing as Yountville Arts. But Rhonda, I don't disagree with you. We need more information really to see what's going on.
Like Yountville Out Loud, because it's spoken word events are also
right.
arts. So we kind of missed them this year, at least in terms of their. So they're having a week of performing arts, sort of like how Napa Valley has Restaurant Week and whatever, Film Week or whatever. So that's what we're and unfortunately. Out Loud is a couple days before the start of the Performing Arts Week.
I know, it's just missing it. It's unfortunate.
So okay. I don't think, are there any action items? I don't think there are any. No. Okay, great. Well, is there anything else? Any other questions or comments for Noelle? Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, we have the Art Superstroll update.
So I think we have
performing arts.
Oh, sorry, Performing Arts. Yeah. Performing Arts Subcommittee. So Judy, I don't know. We don't have, Robin's not here. So somebody could speak to the legacy, and both of you can speak to the Legacy Roundtable program discussion, which sounds amazing. And this is an action item, so.
Yeah, so Jeffrey and I kind of went back and forth, but we came up with a mission statement, which I send you all. I didn't have PJ's email, so I didn't send it to her. But the mission, I'll just read it really quickly. The mission of the Legacy Roundtables is to bring together community members with key people in the Napa Valley who have extended the legacy begun by pioneers in the wine, food, and land use, as well as other aspects of historical Valley legacy. The primary focus will be on our Yountville heritage with connection to the surrounding areas of the Valley. So, and we did that because Rhonda reached out to us and told us that we should have a mission statement. Thank you, Rhonda. That makes sense. And then she suggested that we maybe think that November might be too soon, but really, I think we could do it. Jeffrey, I don't know about you, but I think we could pull enough people together for this. We have to really work with the harvest for most of these people, and they should be done by November. So I think we were thinking like the second week in November. Jeffrey, was that right?
Right.
So if you guys agree with this, we can go ahead and try to secure people and, give you an update. And if we don't I think by the next meeting, we would know if we would have it secure. I've already got the food secure. And so I don't think, we Sam provided us a budget and told us exactly what we would need to do, which is fantastic. So it doesn't really seem that difficult to pull it together that quickly. But if you guys have comments.
So are we going to review the budget?
It is on the agenda, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, it was in the staff report and I can show it.
Sorry.
Yes, I have a couple. I also wanted to address the budget. I think it's amazing. Oops, here we go. Okay, so it's in part of the staff report, November, March, and July. So I was confused a little bit. It says budgeted the 25 times 40 times 2. So that's 25 per person times 40 people times 2 events. Is that?
Because it would only be 2 events in this fiscal year because technically I would be next fiscal year. So I just, for this particular budget that you're looking at, the draft would just be 2 events.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, why it wasn't times 3. So thank you for that. And my other question is, should the, I don't know what to call the people, the legends, should the legends?
The legacies people, yeah. The talent, let's call them the talent.
The talent, okay. Should the talent get a stipend out of?
No. Unless they need us to cover the cost of wine, I don't think they would want a stipend. I think that they're, happy to be up there and talk about what they're doing and providing for, the community like this.
Okay.
Robin, do you have anything that, you would know, when you put the legacy for Sally and Dawn together, did people want stipends or they're just happy to do it?
No, never. With those people, no. I don't know what we would even give them.
No.
Well, I was just thinking a couple $100 as an honor. I guess not a stipend, an honorarium.
Yeah,
but
I don't think it's necessary. I think, as Judy says, it really is as much a privilege to them to be asked as it is for us to be. At least that's the way the panel was. I don't know if Judy and Jeff, you're finding that. But
yeah, and I think it gives people an opportunity to talk about their wine. So it's free publicity as well. And plus they're getting to know other people in the community. So this is part of their natural,
network.
Yeah, network in daily life is to get out there and to promote themselves. And I think that this is going to be, in my opinion, I think this is going to be a really fun, more intimate group. So I think it'll be something that they'll want to really do. At least the people that I've asked so far, without giving dates and without giving a promise, they've been, yes, of course, I would definitely want to do that. So
wow, that's
Judy, I have 2 questions.
I would agree with Judy on this one, that the people that we have discussed in terms of being on this, I think would be happy to donate their time and simply be a part of this.
Wow, that's great. And the wine, and you think wine as well, but is not, they wouldn't.
Writing off wine samples is so cheap. It's not that expensive. So look at how many people we get to participate in, like the Art Sip and Stroll, right? So I think a couple of bottles, 3 or 4 bottles for this event, or 4 bottles, whatever, is not going to be that big of a deal to them. I think that they would be thrilled too. And I could trade wine with them if they need, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. How many are we looking to recruit for the event?
4 leaders or 4 legends per event.
4?
Yes.
Okay.
And 10 attending at each table, and then the leaders would rotate to the tables. The people themselves would stay there, and the leaders would rotate with about 20 minutes.
And then just to give me just a little bit more background, what's our criteria that we are using to decide who are the legendary talent?
People in the area who have been in whatever category, and the first one would be vintners who have been leaders in their field. The next one would be wine growers or viticulturists who again have been prominent in their field. So we're picking out people who contributed a legacy to Napa Valley in one form or another, or legends.
Thank you.
And then I think the third one, we're looking at restaurant legends, and we're tapping in from people that were there in the very beginning, like Michael Mondavi with his father, David Arthur Long, Robin Lael, if anybody has any connections, So we're looking for people that really have a legacy to talk about because they were part of it, and to really bring something to the table that people are very interested in. And they have great stories and we need to capture them. And that's the other thing, PJ, that we didn't mention is we are going to film this, and we are going to hopefully get great photos and have an archive that we can keep forever, and maybe even produce a book over the next couple of years.
Thank you.
That's probably one area, Judy, that we need to add into the budget too, that I haven't talked to you about, but noticed.
Yeah.
May want to talk a bit about that, but we have, I think, enough funds that we could cover that with the proposed fee as well.
And I think I need to check into it. We have a certain number of filmed events that we can add to our contract with Channel 28. So I was going to do a little research on that as well.
Thanks,
That's a great idea, Sam.
We just have to get ahead of it. Yeah, if we can schedule that out. Yeah.
This is going to sell out.
Oh, so fast.
Let's hope
Oh my God.
so.
This is going to sell. Well, I mean, each one of us can think of 10 people, and then, then we have twice as many.
So tell me, throw us your names because we'd like to know. And then that was.
Oh, no, I mean for people to participate.
Yeah.
Not people, not legends, but,
Yes.
listeners.
Yeah. Well,
I think
I've been fortunate I've been in the business for over 30 years, and I have had an opportunity to meet so many people like this. And, just talking to them, I'm like, you know what, this would be a great idea. So I hope it is, and I think it will be. And anyway, thank you.
I think selling out is going to be our biggest problem.
Think what?
I think the speed of selling out is going to be our biggest problem.
Yeah. It's going to be like, whatever, Beyonce.
Are you thinking the Heritage Room? Is that what you're
Yes.
thinking of holding? Yeah. Makes sense.
Right, Sam, the Heritage Room?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an action. And wait, this is
Yeah.
Yes.
yes. Okay, so somebody make a motion to.
I just have one more question before we make that motion. And Sam, we can take this offline, but do we do this like through Eventbrite or something like that?
We have our own internal software for
Okay.
registration of events. So there's no fees or anything. So we can just use that. It's really easy. We used it for the legacy event that we did. So
Okay, thank you.
Great.
and then as far as dates, we need to check our internal calendar too before we land on any dates.
So if you do that, would you just send some out to me, and then I'll talk to Jeffrey and we'll go from there?
You're looking at the first 2 weeks of November.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got the 4th
Yeah.
for the art of the blending passions. So
Probably the second week, Samantha.
Okay. I'll take a look and see what's
are you
open.
thinking of the weekend, or are you thinking of like a Thursday, or?
We were thinking like a Thursday, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, we're not going to have a weekend open. So
And people, I don't want to, if we're asking them to commit their time, I don't want them to have to give up a weekend. It's easier for them to pop over after they've done whatever they've done on Thursday night.
I think it's great. I think it's Thursday. I like Thursdays for events like this. It's good.
Yeah, that sounds.
Have you decided which one will go first for November?
We're looking at the viticulturist. So we were thinking we're thinking Michael Mondavi, David Arthur Long, and then I don't have the thing in front of me, but who knows Robin Lael? Was that you, Rhonda?
Not me. I'm an acquaintance, but no, I think Noelle knows her.
Oh, you do, Noelle?
Yes, I do, but
You don't feel comfortable?
We can talk offline.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
we can talk offline on this.
Okay.
What was I going to say? Oh,
There's plenty of other people we can reach too, so don't even sweat it. That was just like, that would be fabulous. But we were talking about Violet Gergich and.
Well, if you have some names that are hot for you that, you know, one of us might know one of them or have a connection, if you let us know who you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
In any of the categories, really.
Yeah.
right. And when we sell those tickets, like for the legacy, do we capture all those emails for our newsletter?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Was there a half a motion or a motion? I'll make the motion.
Half a motion?
Half a motion. I thought somebody made the motion but didn't second it. I don't know. I'm just so I'll make a motion that that we go ahead and approve the Legacy Roundtable program. And for
Second.
Yes. Do I have to say anything about the budget or 3 shows or maybe 3?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So motion and such a well-worded motion, if I say so myself. And go ahead, please vote.
Who was the second there? I'm sorry.
Jeff.
Jeff seconded. Okay, perfect. Commissioner Hudson?
A big yes.
Awesome. Commissioner Lay?
Yes.
Commissioner Scher?
Yes.
Commissioner Resnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Meredith?
Yes.
Vice Chair McDonald?
Yes.
And Chair Caption?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all that work. This is great. Next, Art Sip and Stroll update, which is ways off. Is there anything?
We talked about scheduling a meeting in August, so we'll work on that.
Okay.
It could be the very end of August, Sam. That would be great. And the gallery committee, we are working on a concept. And I've talked to Sam. I've also talked to Jen. But I've talked to Sam about trying to put together a budget because it's not a normal gallery kind of a show. So maybe next month we'll have more that we can share for the 2023 Art Sip and Stroll artist and gallery show.
Ooh, great cliffhanger. Okay, next. Any questions for Rhonda? No. Okay. And then there's any other staff informational reports, Sam?
No, just a quick update on the position, the specialist position to support art. So I had 3 applicants. I've been able to meet with 2 of them. So hopefully we'll have a decision soon on that. So, and you'll be introduced to that person hopefully next month is the goal.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other commissioner comments or reports before we adjourn? No? Okay. How about a motion to adjourn?
A motion we adjourn?
I'll second that.
Okay.
And this one we can all in favor with your hand up. Steve allows it.
Yay.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thanks.
Everyone.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye, all.
You. Bye.